Hey guys, this video is about why you should stop beating yourself up and feeling guilty if your dog isn't as far as you'd like them to be behaviorally. So let me explain. So recently I've had a couple of clients, actually about four in particular, that kind of spurred me into making this video in the first place, because what I'm seeing with these clients and one student is that they're spending an amazing amount of time beating themselves up because their dog isn't where they think that they should be. They feel that they should be further along with the dog in terms of their behavior. So let's go over a few things and see if that makes any sense in the big picture. Okay, so first of all, is in particular, if you've rescued a dog, here's what you want to ask yourself. First of all, did the dog come with some baggage? Did the dog already come damaged? Because if that's the case, obviously you had nothing to do with that. You're taking a dog that's already broken in certain areas and doing your best to fulfill that dog and to work on those dog's issues the best you can. But some things occurred to that dog, or either a lack of socialization or a trauma or something happened prior to the dog coming to you. So if you stop and think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you haven't been able to get the dog where you'd like them to be. It's just a matter of time before you do, or at least you make some movement towards getting this dog in a better place. So that's the first thing to ask yourself. Secondly, are there symptoms that your dog is having or displaying that are hardwired into the dog? So in particular, an example that you've heard me talk about before is littermate syndrome. So I have a local client that I just adore, and she picked up a couple of dogs they're really cute looking, kind of funny looking cute, but they're Corgi Shepherd mixes, and they're brothers, they're siblings. And she had no idea that littermate syndrome was even a thing. I didn't have any idea littermate syndrome was a thing for the first, I don't know, probably 8 years of my career as a dog behaviorist. Had never even heard of that when I was in rescue for the longest time. And so it's not something that a lot of people talk about, but she had no idea that that was going to create a problem with her dogs, in that they have a lot of trouble detaching from each other because it's not a natural thing for littermates to be together. In their natural world, they would move on and create packs on their own. So one of the things that can happen with littermate syndrome is that they can have a neurotic bond to each other and basically blow off their owners. It's really, really hard to train these dogs, especially if you're trying to do it together, is one thing. Sometimes they fight as they get older, and they start fighting for the top dog position, but it's like insane fights like you've never seen with dogs that, it's very confusing for the owner because they think that as siblings they're supposed to get along, but that's not how it works. So that's one thing that you don't really have any control over. Now, she didn't know anything about this littermate syndrome, or she probably would have made a different choice in getting just one of those dogs instead of two, but that's not how it panned out. So she's been working really diligent with me, and she has made some improvement, but at a certain point, there's only going to be so far that she's going to be able to get, because that's a hardwired syndrome. And she feels awful about it. It's created a lot of frustration for her. And it really bothers me because she's basically kind of flogging herself for her choice, even though she didn't realize what it was. But this is somebody that's so highly committed to the dog. She's had, I don't know, 5 or 6 sessions with me, probably, and she's made some headway, but she hasn't gotten them all the way there. That's Steve snoring in the background. He's right down there. So the other issue is I have another set of clients that I just love, and I've got their dog up here right now. This dog has one of the lowest pack drives of any dog I've ever worked with in a 21-year career. It's pretty amazing. There have been a few, but he's pretty unique in that he's been here over 2 weeks now, and I still don't feel like I'm relevant enough to him. It is what it is with these dogs. This is another hardwired syndrome with a dog. Their dogs are either have high pack drive, high prey drive. You can nurture one or the other. You can make some movement towards getting that to go in the direction that you want it to go in, but in the end, you can only move that dog so far. So we're doing a lot of long line work. We're doing a lot of some e-collar work that he's responding to really well. But in the end, he's basically a very confident, high defense dog that nothing really phases him, and people really aren't that important to him. And that's just who he is. So as a result, there's some things that have gone on in their home that is based on the fact that he's got very low pack drive that really upsets my clients, and they want that to change very badly. And these are another this is another couple who are incredibly committed to the process. She's been to one of my workshops. They've done sessions with me and everything, and there's only so far that he's been able to get. It doesn't mean he's not going to come further, but these are extremely difficult dogs to work with because people really aren't that important to them. So again, all these things can be moved, but it's basically, if you look at the big picture and you look at people, for example, I was really shy when I was a kid, and some people would refer to that as being introverted, but really my shyness was a lack of confidence that I had as a child, as a young person. And as I grew older, I became confident, and so that went away. I've now become a very social person, but that's who I was at that time. So you can nurture some of those things and change them in people and in dogs, but only to a certain extent. So what I see happening when people get really frustrated, and sometimes that'll turn into anger, and sometimes they'll even direct it not only to themselves but to the dog, because they can't figure out what it is that they're doing wrong. But in the end, they're not doing anything wrong. Some of the dogs that I have here right now, the Corsos, for example, huge social deficit with people, right? They were abandoned in a mountain for months at a time until they were finally rescued, and they've been here now for over a year. And it wasn't until, I would say, 9 months into their stay here, where they actually lived here with me, that they would actually begin to approach me. I mean, it was impossible. Even if I put a leash on them, I would have to corner them in a part of my yard, or get them into a run or a crate in order to leash them up, because they were so wounded and so damaged from that lack of socialization when they were young. So most of what I want to say to you guys is that patience is the key with these cases, with any case really. You can accomplish just about anything if you're willing to hang in there long enough. Those of you who know who my dogs are, Amber kind of looks like a little small, I always call her a fake Belgian Malinois, but she's actually just a little mutt that came from a hoarding situation. But she was a dog that it took forever for me I couldn't negotiate with her to get her anywhere. The little dog that I've got in here right now, Shima, who's a feral dog, you can't negotiate with those dogs. You can't speed up the process. In fact, I will add that if you do try to do that, if you try to push yourselves on these dogs that have such a lack of socialization, you're going to actually move them further back. So whatever it is your dog has an issue with, don't beat yourself up over it. If you're watching this video, if you've watched it so far, it's because you're interested in helping your dog become a better version of himself, and it's because that very reason that's what you're looking to do tells me that you're trying really hard to make this happen. So a lot of these dogs get abandoned for issues that are less than whatever it is that you're dealing with, because they're just not going to bother. So if you're watching this, that tells me that you're committed to the process. So just hang in there. Don't beat yourself up. It's kind of like kids. I have 2 sisters. We couldn't be any more different. We don't look alike. We don't necessarily believe in the same things. We have different values. We're very, very different, but we came from the same 2 parents, and we were raised in the same environment. Go figure. That's just how it is. So dogs are very similar in that respect. They kind of are who they are within a certain reason. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to go a little bit further with your education to dog behavior, I have lots of workshops through the year. I've got some that are sold out, but I just opened up some new dates for, let me see, I've got one in January, one in February. You can go to, if you click on the link in my bio, that will take you to an Update Me page, and it's got all the different things that I'm doing and I'm planning on doing, and you can just put your information there, and then we will contact you when those dates become available and when we're ready to book. Okay? Don't forget to follow me on YouTube. I have over 100 training videos on YouTube that I've done over years, and they're free. Okay? So hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys. See ya. Bye.